Welcome everyone, I'm Mr. Eves, and today we're going to be talking about prime factorizations using the ladder method. Now, to kind of help us out, we're going to start off with the problem number 24. And let's just make a little side note. And to start off, I'm going to put a little L, a long L, by 24. So it looks something like that. So it's kind of a really long L with a long bottom. So just like that. And that's the start of our ladder. Okay, so we're going to kind of go off with that. Now, what I want you to think is, what is the smallest number that can go into 24? And let's just make a quick note. So what is the smallest number besides 1 that can go into 24? So as we're thinking smallest number, 1 doesn't go into it, 2 does because it's even. And so we go ahead and see that 2 does. Then I'm going to make another ladder. And I ask myself, how many times does 2 go into 24? Well, in the bottom part of the ladder, right over here, I'm going to put 12 because 2 goes into it 12 times. Now, once I have that, I ask myself, once again, what is the smallest number that goes into 12? Well, besides 1. And so we say, we know 2 goes into it because it's even, once again, make the next ladder ring. And so the next rung on the ladder, I'm going to put 6 because 6 goes into 12 2 times. Then I'm asking myself once again, what is the smallest number that goes into 6? Well, it's even still, so it goes in twice, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. What's the smallest number besides 1 that goes into 3? Well, itself, 3, and 3 goes into itself 1 time, so I have 1 left over. And when I get to this point, whenever I reach the number 1, that's where I'm going to stop. So that's our stopping point. Now, when we get going, the next thing that we want to do is to check what our prime factorization of this number is. So I'm going to take the numbers on the outside, 2, 2, 2, and 3, and write it as multiplication. So I got the product of 2 times 2 times 3. Now 2 times 2, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. That's what it should equal. It should equal the number that you started off with. And so that's an easy way to check to make sure it's there. Now, I want to put it in shortened form, so I'm going to go 2 to the 3rd power times 3. Just a quick reminder that that means that we have 3 2's and 1 3. Now, just a quick reminder, we're looking for the smallest number to go into these, and we're going to continue the ladder down until we get to 1, and that's where we're going to stop. And when we reach 1, we're stopped, and then we're going to pull out all the numbers out in front of the ladder and multiply those together, set it up as a product, as it is shown here below, and make sure that product equals the top number. And so let's go ahead and practice this a little bit. So on our worksheet, we're going to practice this just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and check number 30. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my L. Now once I've made my L, I'm going to ask myself, what's the smallest number besides 1 that goes into 30? Well, 30 is even, so I know that by the divisibility rules, 2 goes into it. 2 goes into 30, and it goes in 15 times. Then I'm going to say, what's the next smallest number? What's the smallest number that goes into 15 besides 1? And that's 3. 3 goes into 15 5 times. What's the smallest number that goes into 5 besides 1? And that's 5. And then we reach 1. Then we write our prime factorization. 2 times 3 times 5. Cross it out over there. That's the letter A. Check that it's equals 30. 2 times 3 is 6. Times 5 is 30. So that's correct. And so the letter A is where we're going to be at. All right, let's do a couple more. Put my L, my long L, or my ladder, and what's the smallest number that goes into 42? Besides 1, it is 2. 2 goes into 42. Now, let me show you a little trick. If you don't know, when you get big numbers, you can kind of space them out. So I ask myself, what's half of 40? Well, I know that's 20, and what's half of 2? That's 1, so it's going to be 21. And so what's the smallest number that goes into 21 besides 1? That's 3. 3 goes into 21 7 times. What's the smallest number that goes into 7 besides 1? And it's 7. And now we have 2 times 3 times 7. Check to make sure that equals 42. 2 times 3 is 6, times 7 is 42. Excellent. Then we go ahead and cross it out over there and put the letter I. Now you're going to be putting your letters, I in the box number 2, all the numbers 2's down there, and A for all the number 1's down there. For 18, let's go ahead and put our L, our long L, and ask ourselves, what's the smallest number besides 1 that goes into 18? That is 2. 2 goes into 18 9 times. What's the smallest number that goes into 9? 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. What's the smallest number that goes into 3 besides 1? It is itself, which is 3. And that equals 1. We're going to go ahead and stop there, and then we're going to write out our prime factorization. And I'm going to shorten this to 2 times 3 to the second power. And 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18, so we double check to make sure it was correct. Then I'm going to go ahead and cross off the letter T and go from there. So this is a quick way to do the ladder method for multiplication. Once again, let's go back over here to this other one. And on this other side, we want to know what the smallest number besides 1 that goes into 24, and we keep going down the ladder. What's the next smallest number the smallest number that goes into 12, into 6, into 3, until we reach 1, and then we're going to stop. I hope you enjoyed this quick little lesson on prime factorization, the ladder method, and please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is found at The Mr. Eves, and so go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and have a great day.